Good afternoon, everyone, in person and online. So our study revolves around the INSCI community survey, and I was just out of interest wondering how many people have heard of either the INSCI community survey or the Aus-INSCI, if you could raise your hands. Okay, and how many kind of feel like they know what it's all about? Okay, great. So we're all going to learn a lot today, which is fantastic. So the INSCI Community Survey is an international survey, the first of its kind for spinal cord injury. The first survey was released in 2018 and 2019, involved 22 countries. And the second iteration is out now and it involves 40 countries. So it allows us to get cross-sectional data, but also longitudinal data for those participants who have completed the survey more than once. So the INSCI International Survey is a very large survey, so 125 questions across multiple domains. The Australian version, which is called the Aus-INSCI survey, so it has even more questions over these domains as well. So in Australia, so from the first survey, we had 1,579 participants, and this data has been analysed and there's been a number of publications that have come from that. Also in 2021, there was a pilot translational project, which was led by Delina Amsters, and it looked at running a number of focus groups with people with lived experience in spinal cord injury, with the aim to try and come up with some ideas for change across the domains of pain, employment, bladder bowel, and sexual function. Now, unfortunately, that project kind of came to the end of its funding cycle, but now here with the Aus-INSCI Translational Project, we have the opportunity to build on that great foundation that Delina did and start to drive some real positive change. So what we're about with the Aus-INSCI Translation Project, ultimately, we're trying to improve the lives of people with spinal cord injury. And we want to do that by translating the insights from the Aus-INSCI Community Survey into practical co-design solutions by engaging stakeholders, informing policy and supporting system-wide improvements for people living with spinal cord injury and their family. So the project is hosted by the Hopkins Centre. The project lead is Professor Tim Geraghty and is funded by NISQ. Now that funding, it's a 3-year project, and that funding will fund my time as the project manager at point 4. It'll also fund my colleague's time, Michaela Filipchikova, at point 5. We'll also be working very closely with our colleagues who are running the community survey. So that's Dr. James Middleton and Mohit Arora from Sydney and Samantha Borg here at Hopkins. Importantly, we've got a steering committee that's got national representation. And we're also in the process of finalising a consumer advisory committee. So that will involve 8 people with lived experience of spinal cord injury who will help guide the project. So there's 6 stages to the project. The first stage is getting the data from the survey. And then the second stage is kind of where we're up to now. And that's about trying to prioritise the key areas to focus on. We're going to do that via a Delphi study. And what we're aiming to try and achieve is to try and work out what the top 5 health-related issues are and what the top 5 non-health related issues are. Once we have that, so our top 10, we want to do an environmental scan to see what else is going on around Australia to make sure that we're not duplicating anything. Stages 4 and 5 is about engaging people with lived experience and also key professional stakeholders to work out what these ideas can be and how we can try and convert those ideas into action, followed by stage 6, which is implementing whatever we come up with and then evaluating. Now, you might see in stage 2, we've got a little asterisk, the ideas to action survey. So we're actually going to fast track the work that Delina's done. There are already ideas generated from people with spinal cord injury with pain and employment. So we're going to fast track that and try and generate those ideas to action now. And that can kind of work as a bit of a pilot for stages of 4 and 5 later in the project. So we feel like we have a really unique opportunity to make significant change because never before have we had this data that's available from the community survey to kind of build on. We've also got national buy-in, which is really difficult to get. and we're engaging in genuine co-design to come up with meaningful solutions to improve people's lives with spinal cord injury. So if you want to get in touch, we've got an email, there's a web page on the Hopkins website. Also, happy to take any phone calls. I work Monday, Tuesday, Michaela works Thursday, Friday. And if you're wondering what I do in the rest of my time and building on Jacinta's work, what gives me meaning, I'm at home raising these 3 delightful human beings. Thank you to New Student for the partnership.